Hello and welcome to this presentation on Book-centric to content-led publishing. I'm Coveyduck from Virtusales Publishing Solutions, and we develop, implement and support the award-winning Biblio suite of publishing software. Biblio can be implemented in its entirety to support the full publishing lifecycle, or publishers can select from the relevant solutions to solve their business challenges and manage their workflows from acquisition, ideation, through editorial, production, sales and marketing, rights, through to publication or delivery, royalty calculations, reprints and revisions. Here are some of our customers. As you can see, we work with publishers from all around the world in all shapes and sizes, spanning academic, education, professional publishers, trade and children's, university presses, and even some UN agencies. And of course, many of them speak with us about the challenges and opportunities that they face, what they're thinking about as businesses, and any changes that they have in the pipeline. One of those changes that's particularly relevant to us as a software provider is the transition from book-centric to content-led publishing, and how publishers are reconsidering how they deliver content to their consumers. Today, we'll look at some of the ways, or some of the reasons why publishers are considering change, some examples of how publishers are adapting and exploring new ideas, and we'll finish up with some takeaway points on things that you could do now. There are a number of reasons why publishers are making this transition from a traditional manuscript approach towards a content-led model, most of which are related to the changing demands and expectations of the customer, whether it's an aggregator, distributor, retailer, educational institution, library, or a consumer such as a student, teacher, or an interested individual. And technology, which has clearly been having a significant effect on the publishing industry for the past 20 years at least, when ebooks really became mainstream in the early 2000s. Presenting both challenges and opportunities to publishers, technological developments and innovation can have profound effects on consumer behaviour, as well as publishers' ability to meet the changing expectations of their audiences. Enabling publishers to be more innovative with formats and delivery channels in order to satisfy changing demands, while also enabling publishers to reap the benefits of digitisation and automation in their back office processes and workflows, for managing their metadata and assets throughout the content creation and manufacturing process, contracts, rights, royalties, and inventory management and distribution, whether that's physical or digital. There's been a noticeable shift in publishing output, with average sales per title dropping and the number of individual titles being published on the up. Publishers are increasingly producing more formats to engage researchers, libraries, students with their high-quality content. And with this comes the sizable task of managing and distributing more products and more metadata through more channels, including various aggregators, libraries, and platforms. Additionally, the metadata that's needed isn't straightforward. With most publishers using Onyx data for sales, institutions require different details for MARC records and KBART files, which are critical for searching and accessing content in libraries. On top of this, content platforms and dissemination services are offering content at a more granular level, which in turn requires metadata to be provided not just for articles and abstracts, but for chapters and other content pieces as well. A daunting task for publishers with a large backlist to retrospectively update. Publishers are also facing disruption and increased competition from non-traditional publishing sources, and seeing new business models and revenue streams from pay-per-view chapters to online blended learning platforms. These challenges have led to the emergence of creative new business models amongst academic publishers, hoping to overcome these pressures with innovative publishing outputs. One notable example is the rise of custom publishing, now widely offered to professors and institutions looking to build valuable and bespoke course materials, but also with the wider publishing community offering bespoke material to organisations or other non-traditional markets. This is a great opportunity to create additional revenue and strengthen support, brand recognition and loyalty from institutions, while also creating unique course adoption or buy-in from organisations as a trusted provider of content. With granular content gaining traction across the industry and an increase in formats combined with a decrease in sales, publishers need to streamline their processes to handle ever more data and more products, from traditional print formats to multimedia products including audio, video, mobile apps, content platforms, and even virtual reality, often combining multiple formats in a single product. Publishers are now having to navigate a multimedia landscape where they must provide their content in multiple formats, often simultaneously, and this proliferation of formats brings the challenge of maintaining profitability without overstretching a publisher's resources. This means that they need to manage and distribute high-quality metadata and assets through both traditional and new channels, often with new pricing models in order to reach their consumers. In particular, the increase of formats has added a layer of complexity with different product identifiers for what could be the same content simply repackaged differently. Most traditional publishing systems are designed specifically for products that use ISBNs, but of course many of the newer formats use different identifiers, and there is also differences with product metadata and of course the production processes and distribution channels. This has meant that publishers often use separate systems and even people to produce the various products and formats, even though they're all related to a single piece of original IP. And this inevitably has an impact on the efficiency and productivity. Now, increasingly, the hardback and paperback will come out at the same time to meet the demands of different markets. The ebook is likely to have multiple formats, and better-selling titles may also see a companion website with an additional material for the author, and textbooks may see online resources accessed via QR codes in the print book. Of course, it's necessary to record all of the different formats and products, relate them together, coordinate schedules, allow collaborative costings, plan and coordinate simultaneous printings and distribution worldwide. Manual processes are being stripped out of the production workflow and replaced with automated and digitised workflows in order to meet the need for concurrent publication and the pressure for publishers to reduce expenditure. At the same time, publishers are seeking new income streams and ways to maximise the income from their IP, breaking content down into granular pieces or bundling it together to create new products and then making them available through new models such as open access, textbook rental and subscription models for students. Many publishers are also turning their attentions to rights and licensing to improve their margins. A large professional publisher interviewed for a recent BISG study on rights management said that they value rights at 5 to 6 times the actual licensing revenue, purely because it's just profit. And with that in mind, it makes complete sense for publishers to leverage their content as much as possible to really make the most from their IP and the rights that they own. As publishers look to reuse, repackage and repurpose their content in different formats for different channels, markets or audiences, adopting format agnostic workflows, for example XML first, means file changes can be rolled out en masse to all formats at once, paving the way for content to be quickly remodelled into new format types for the future. Furthermore, digital tools are now available in which allow publishers to search, extract and transform content into new publications. Alongside automation tools like these, improving internal workflows and efficiencies should be a high priority for publishers looking to reduce costs. Publishers with key data stored across multi-systems on email and in offline files like spreadsheets lose valuable time disseminating this information across different departments. Likewise, time-consuming meetings, endless chasing of files and information causing further inefficiencies can be saved by better systems. The drive for publishers to do more with their IP and maximise revenue across all of their income streams and resulting in more complex legal agreements. Defining rights at a more granular level, publishers are now selling articles and chapters through various channels and reusing content to create custom products, such as bespoke textbooks for a specific institution or organisation. In theory, individual images, graphs, or even equations could be reused, and so publishers now want to recognise them as a sellable entity in their own right. These new product types can be complex to manage and dissect, and of course all require their own IDs and metadata to ensure the content is easily discoverable for consumers. New pricing models and micropayments add to the complexity further. With all of this, there becomes a need for rights data at this granular level for images, chapters, etc. to be stored. And this is critical, especially when the web is increasingly crawled for images being used in books to ensure licenses are paid. It's now more important than ever for publishers to be able to manage rights, permissions and royalties for all of their formats and content. Not only is this vital for correctly apportioning royalties and sales, but it also provides publishers with a unique insight into the products that are most successful, informing future publishing decisions. The supply chain is also changing, with print runs becoming smaller and pressure to reduce stock levels causing publishers to look towards inventory management systems and business intelligence tools to improve their sales forecasting and implement auto-replenishment and/or print on demand. The rise of digital products also presents a need for publishers to distribute in content along with the associated product metadata, which without an integrated publishing system for managing metadata and assets together is really not a very easy task and tends to involve lots of manual processes. As more content is distributed digitally, sales data is being reported at a more granular level and potentially more frequently, providing publishers with a new valuable insight into the performance of their products. Publishers are looking to model and forecasting tools to make sense of the data and to use it to improve and, if possible, automate their decision making. A recent article by Forbes earlier this year summarised the changing trends in publishing industry. Smaller publishers will focus on honing their niche. Marketing will entail more valued content to the current audience. So really following on from the first point, we can expect to see publishers building customer loyalty with quality content tailored and targeted to their audiences. Audio will be king as more people turn to audiobook platforms. Marketing budgets will be used to refine websites and SEOs. Of course, we're already seeing publishers create microsites for curated content and running digital campaigns, and we expect to see this increase. Partnerships will take precedence over competition. Podcasting will be the new norm for publishers. Digital subscribers will grow because of the instant access to content. 44% of the world population is already reading online, according to a recent Cisco annual internet report. 82% of all online content will be video by the year 2022. And the digital subscription model has obviously become a more significant source of income for many publishers. And then lastly, print will be strong into the second half of this decade. In response, publishers are looking to software to help them manage metadata and assets across products and formats and improve discoverability with automated content tagging using AI. They're seeking efficiencies by automating workflows such as the creation of new products, the analysis and evaluation of specification variations, quick and simple calculations of P&Ls, secure file sharing and digital distribution for permissions and digital products. Publishers are also changing their views on rights, and with many bringing rights and licensing into the core of their business, they're eking out as much revenue as possible from the content and rights they own. Repackaging and reusing content in different formats, products and geographical territories, managing permissions and granular deals more effectively, and improving the management and renewals of expiring rights. One way that publishers are repackaging content is by making it available to subscribers of online content platforms, such as Bloomsbury's Fashion Central, which provides curated specialist content on fashion and dress. The Digital Hub combines 4 digital online databases of peer-reviewed content, alongside textbooks, major reference works, video content and images. The platform contains a mixture of Bloomsbury-owned and third-party content in various formats, some of which is published by Bloomsbury and available for sale through traditional channels, while many of the photos are from museums around the world. Another example is Hodder Education's Boost platform, which was launched earlier this year and provides a modern interactive digital learning platform bringing quality content and new technology together for an innovative digital learning experience. And lastly, Sage provide over 140 hours of video offering support for teachers as part of their education collection. Of course, we're also seeing new audiobook platforms being launched, and during the lockdowns in particular, we saw publishers and educational institutions sharing a huge amount of content digitally in various ways online and often making it available free of charge. So in an attempt to bring this all together and to give you some useful takeaway suggestions, I've put a few final slides together just summarising what you could start to consider now. Enrich your metadata. I know it's mentioned often, but it really is important to increase discoverability by thinking about metadata from the earliest point in a product's inception. Clarify ownership and incorporate it into your everyday workflows. Automate your metadata feeds to ensure data remains accurate and up-to-date in all channels. And use tools to illustrate the power that good metadata can have on a title by giving it feedback to the users responsible for it. The use of business intelligence, dashboards and other tools can have great benefits, visualising and displaying the positive impact on sales that rich metadata can have. Give your users, staff and stakeholders instant feedback on the impact of good metadata, and in turn that will then encourage them to automatically think about entering the data through the workflow rather than being prompted. Number 2, become a content curator. Being agnostic about content and format can help maximise reuse and revenue. Consider how content could be sold in a granular way, or bundled together, or potentially reused right at the start of the process. Centralise tools and systems to enable reporting and support the early release of content. Record permissions, rights and sales against content for unique sales insights to inform strategic publishing decisions. Number 3, consider new models and channels. Consider non-traditional models for channels of consumption, either in the form of services by offering agnostic formats that can be transformed into bespoke products, or to organisations or individuals that may not be in your normal end users or channels. Create a strategy to easily update and manage pricing centrally. This will provide the flexibility to quickly adapt to future models and channels. Number 4, refine and scale for high volumes. Think about all the processes involved in commissioning, publishing and distributing your content, and which of these could be automated. Review your existing workflows and validation tools. Make sure they're flexible enough to support multiple formats and do not have unnecessary procedures or steps. Make sure your publishing system has the capability to quickly scale publishing output with batch update tools, workflows and automation. And number 5, ensure your systems are ready and compatible. Avoid reliance on ISBNs to allow single publishing systems to support the creation, production, sales and marketing, financial controls and royalty payments for any type of product in any form of the intellectual property that you own. Invest in a modern royalty system capable of calculating royalty payments for digital products and content items, as well as other new formats at the most appropriate times. Of course, this could continue to be 6 monthly for paper-based products, or could move to daily or any other period for digital products and subscription models. And in summary, success will depend in large on part of having the right infrastructure available to support the transition. And there's a clear benefit in investing in good publishing systems that help users manage products in high volumes, centralises workflows and increases product visibility. Good publishing systems will also offer a wide range of batch updating tools and templates to quickly manage high volume publishing of this nature. So that's all from me today. Thank you very much for coming along and listening. And please do feel free to get in touch with me if you've got any questions. My email should be on the screen.